All right, so Daniel chapter 9. Looking today at the 70 weeks of Daniel prophecy. The reason I'm bringing this up, well, a couple of things. One, I think that if Jews were honest, they would have to believe that this is the prophecy concerning Messiah was fulfilled and that he already came. So, they're looking for him to come. We're looking for him to come again. And then the other reason is all the ones that want to say that this is already past and that it changes then the timeline for the rapture. And so it throws off the end time timeline. So the 70 weeks, I want to say that it's already over. And as we have on the chart there, that ends sometime in the future. The last week is in the future. So let's take a look at this in Daniel chapter 9 and verse 24. And this was the prophecy that was given to Daniel. It says, 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city, to finish the transgression, and to make an end of sins, and to make reconciliation for iniquity, and to bring in everlasting righteousness, and to seal up the vision and prophecy, and to anoint the most holy. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah the Prince shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. The street shall be built again, and the wall even in troublous times. And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself. And the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with a flood, and unto the end of the war desolations are determined. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, and in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease, and for the overspreading of abominations he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. So you asked me if I'm going to explain this chart. I'm going to try to. I've been studying this for years, and I have some difficulties with it. But we're looking today at the 70-week prophecy given by Daniel. So an angel told Daniel 70 weeks are determined upon Daniel's people, Israel. Now, the first thing we need to explain to you today is what a week is. A week is a period of sevens. Could be 7 days, could be 7 months, could be 7 years. In this particular instance, it is 7 years. How about one of you guys running this back? Right. So 70 weeks would be 70 times 7 years, or 490 years. 490 years for what? Well, that's a good question. Well, according to what we just read, 70 weeks are determined in verse 24. Daniel 9:24. 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city to finish the transgression, to make an end of sins, to make reconciliation for iniquity, to bring in everlasting righteousness. Okay, well, everlasting righteousness. Now, definitely, we do not see that. We have not seen that yet. Israel is not righteous. In fact, there's a lot of wickedness in Israel. So, it hasn't happened yet. It will someday when Jesus rules the earth from Jerusalem. So the end of verse 24 said to seal up the vision and prophecy and to anoint the most holy. Jesus is the most holy, and he'll be anointed to be king of Jerusalem. And so the prophecy is that it takes 70 weeks for that to occur. 70 times 7, 490 years. All right, so we still didn't really answer the question, 490 years of what? So I'd like to hold back on that and talk about that later. But another question is, when did the clock start? Well, verse 25, it says, know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah, the Prince, shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. A score is 20, 60, 7, 60, and 2. Altogether, that is 69 weeks. It says, unto the Messiah, Jesus, when Jesus came. All right, so okay, that's a good question too. What part of Messiah? Well, let's look at some more here. Let's go back first. There was a command by Cyrus, king of Persia, but that was about 550 BC, I think it was. Then there was another command by Artaxerxes, and that was, okay, I have 483 there. I'm going to say up to the cross. And we'll look at that later. And if you have any other explanation, that's fine. But I'm going to say, all right, so Jesus' ministry was 33 years. He was 33 years, approximately 33 to 33 and a half years, from his birth until the cross. So if we take off 33 from 483, that leaves us with 450 BC. So there was a edict, a command about that time from this Persian king Artaxerxes. And so, it is kind of difficult to get the exact time for this. This is, if Jesus was born in the year AD 1, which I think he was, but but I don't think it's actually critical to have the exact year. So with then there's problem with difference between the Hebrew calendar that has 360 days a year and the Julian calendar that's 365 and a quarter. And you have to figure out the leap years, and you also have to figure out difference with the Hebrew and the Julian calendar that was instituted in the year 45 BC. So we're into a sticky mathematical situation trying to figure out, and I'm not very good at math. So if you want to try to figure it out, that's fine, but I am going to round it off to 450 BC when this command was given to restore Jerusalem until the Messiah would be 69 weeks. 69 times 7 would be 483. So 450 to 33 AD would be 483 years. All right, so underneath there you have 7 weeks equals 7 years, 49 years. And 62 weeks times 7 is 434. 434 and 49 is 483. All right, so why this 7 weeks and then 62 weeks? When the Jews began to rebuild the temple, and that was about 450 BC, and it took them 49 years to build it. So that's where you get the 7 weeks. So he says 7 weeks, and then where is it? In the middle of verse 25. 7 weeks and 62 weeks. So, taking us up to the cross of Christ. Okay, now, so, know therefore, verse 25, know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah the Prince shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. Okay, so the Jews were ready for the Messiah the day before he was crucified. You know, he went through the city on a colt, and they welcomed the Messiah. You know, they waved the palm branches, and they cried, "Hosanna, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord." So I don't think the Jews have any excuse for not believing the Messiah has come already. All right, verse 26. And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself. Okay, so it sounds to me, doesn't it sound like cut off? That wouldn't this be the crucifixion? And cut off, but not for himself. You know, he didn't die for himself, he died for us. On the cross, he was cut off. So after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off. So kind of, you know, whatever the date was that it started, you know, it says after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off. So, you know, you get up to the 483rd year and Messiah is cut off. All right, so is this making sense? Is it clear as mud? Okay. They knew when Messiah would come. And then it says that he will be cut off. So after 62 weeks, or 62 weeks, which is 62 weeks, shall Messiah be cut off. Go ahead. Yeah. 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 Sports ball? Sports? Okay. So they weren't really studious. They kind of just went along with. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, the next day, the ones that lauded him, they're trying to crucify him. Mm-hmm. So he was cut off. Yeah. Yeah. No. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. 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 And you have your believers. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. All right. So in verse 26, let's continue on there and see what it says. So verse 26, after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself. And the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary. All right, who destroyed the city and the sanctuary? No. Okay, now, actually, I was thinking there's ones that want to say that this is Jesus in verse 26 and 27, and think, how could that be? You know, it was the Romans that destroyed Jerusalem in 70 A.D., and they destroyed the temple. There was not one stone left upon another, as Jesus said. Hold on a second. The people of the prince that shall come. That doesn't say the people that come. It doesn't say the prince that shall come. The people of the prince that shall come. I think that's referring to the Antichrist right there. The prince that shall come. The people of the prince. See, the people, they come out of the beast, you know, which is all of the empires of the world. So you have Babylonians, Medes and Persians, the Greeks, the Romans, and then the Antichrist comes. So the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city. So the people, that's the empire at that time, the Romans. The prince is the Antichrist. People of the prince that shall come. The prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with the flood. Unto the end of the war, desolations are determined. Okay. So that's the people of the prince that shall come. So the Romans, but then there's this other person, prince that shall come. All right, now verse 27. All right, so remember from verse 26, the people of the prince that shall come. So we heard about Messiah, and then the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city. So who's that? The Romans. That's not Christians destroying it, not believers in Christ. So this prince, that couldn't be Christ. Because why would those people why would they be destroying, the city? Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so, and he, so anytime you have a pronoun, it refers immediately, usually, to whoever it was talking about immediately before that. So the prince of the people that shall come, he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. All right, yeah, so, there's many there's theologians that they think that he is referring to Messiah. But this doesn't seem right to me. Before Christ crucifixion or immediately after? I don't know for sure about before he was crucified. I mean, they had the sacrifices, but they did things that were wrong. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All through their history, they had idols in the temple, and that would God was not pleased with it. I don't know if it was abomination. It could be an abomination, but there's another abomination that will occur. All right, so future, at the end of the chart, that last week. Yes. So he, the prince of the people that shall come, the Antichrist, shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, or 7 years. 7 years. And in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. So, there's ones that want to make 69 weeks end before the cross. Some say when he was baptized, and then, his ministry was about 3.5 years, which kind of, I don't know if it's, well, I don't think there's any coincidence with God, but it says that he'll be cut off. So was he cut off when he was baptized? I didn't think so, did he? So it says he'll be cut off. So, there's some that want to take this and they want to use it to say that the sacrifices are finished. Yeah. And it's true. Christ is our sacrifice. And he did cause for it to be done away, ended. But I don't think that's what this is referring to here. He, the prince of the people that shall come, the Antichrist, shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. So, immediately after the rapture of the church, the Antichrist is going to make a covenant with the nation of Israel. And in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. So, they're going to start sacrificing again the way they're supposed to, according to the law, the Torah. And then he's going to stop it right in the middle of the 3.5 years into that. And for the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate. So the abomination, when he puts an image of himself on the altar and demands that they worship him, and they're not going to settle for that. They'll reject that. I don't either. All right, so look back again at verse 26. And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself, and the people of the prince that shall come, So the people of the prince that shall come destroyed the city and the sanctuary. So that was the Romans. So the prince is not Christ. It's a future character to come, the Antichrist. He shall confirm the covenant with Israel for 1 week, 7 years. So that hasn't happened yet. So, ones that want to say the 70 weeks are all done, they mess with the rapture. And they cause many to think that there isn't going to be any rapture. So that's why this is critical right here. So the Antichrist, he'll go into action after the rapture. He'll make a 7-year peace treaty with Israel. And as it says, verse 27, he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week or 7 years. And in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease, the normal sacrifice of the temple. He'll put a stop to that, change it, make a sacrifice. I'm not sure exactly what it's going to be. Maybe it'll be an unclean animal. For the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate. So that is the abomination of desolation that Jesus spoke of. So the sacrifice that will be wrong, and that will be a sign for those who are here on earth during the tribulation. They'll see that happen. Okay, so if this is referring to as some wrongly conclude, I would say, if they think that this is talking about Jesus putting an end to the sacrifices in the temple. Then why is he calling it an abomination? Huh? Homosexuality, witchcraft, yeah, abominable. I don't know, I haven't thought about it too much. Were you thinking about what's going to be the abomination? I guess. Abomination is something that is severely hated by God. But this couldn't be Jesus' sacrifice. And Jesus said that when you see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, he said, flee to the mountains. So is he telling his apostles at that time, if this is talking about he's going to stop the sacrifice, and when that happens, flee to the mountains. That doesn't make any sense. So, you understand what I'm saying? This can't be about Christ right there. It has to be about the Antichrist. Okay, so some people, they have a hard time seeing how it can be broken up. There's a big gap there, 2,000 years from the previous until the last week, of this prophecy. And say, no, that can't be. That's not possible. Why would God do that? And so that takes us back to the question of what it is that is taking 490 years for. And I would have to say, here's my thought about that. I think it is the temple itself. Because it was destroyed, and then it was rebuilt. So a command was given for it to be rebuilt. And then Jesus came, so after 7 weeks and 62 weeks, after 69 weeks, Messiah was cut off. Jesus died on the cross. And something very important that happened inside the temple when Christ died on the cross. You know what it is? The veil was torn in two. So that ended the temple worship right there. So even though, the temple remained until 70 A.D., I've heard reports, things that things didn't work out in the temple after, Christ died. There were things that the sacrifice didn't work out the way they were supposed to. And that's because it wasn't supposed to. He was our sacrifice, and he opened the way for us to come to God. So when the veil was torn in two, then Christ rendered the temple obsolete. No more sacrifices. Jesus was a sacrifice. But that's only 69 weeks. So there's 1 week left. And yeah, there isn't any temple in Jerusalem yet. There's the dome of the mosque, the Muslim mosque. So a third temple will be built again. Now, whether or not that starts that last week, or it's when the Antichrist makes a covenant with Israel. But 70 weeks are determined. I'm thinking it's for the temple itself. So some they think, 70 weeks that Israel will be in, they will not be in power, over the world. Well, it's been more than 490 years. It's been over 2,000 years. No, it seems to be the temple itself. Did they? Since 1948 or before that? And they weren't able to. Because it's not time for that last week. Yeah. After the rapture, covenant will be made, and that last week will start the clock for that last week. The middle of that last week, the abomination that maketh desolate, whatever that is exactly, it's something abominable that the Antichrist will do in the temple. The Jews will not accept it, and they will run. Jesus said, when you see that, flee to the mountains. And that's what they're going to do. So, for all those Jews that don't want to believe Messiah has come already, and tell them, well, when you see the abomination of desolation, then you'll know that it was true. So, all right, well, I hope this helps you in some way. Maybe not immediately, and it's a lot to take in. You probably have to hear it again. I've been studying it for years, and I still go over it. We want to be able to have an answer for those that, that would have the wrong timing for the rapture. And